Yeah, the Tracks of My Tears by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. And what a voice. And a little later on in the program, you're going to have the opportunity to listen to Gabriela singing a cappella. But we're just going to, stick with the poetry, and again, listeners out there, if you've got something to say and you can play, come, step into the neutral zone. RadioPeckham.org will help pave the way. Gabriela, she's got something to say.
Yeah, well, we've just heard Smokey Robinson singing about tears, the tracks of my tears, and this next poem is entitled Tear Fall. So you can tell I've had a few tears in my life, and you should be able to see images. If you listen to the words, see images and maybe understand the poem then. Okay. Under lid stirrings, domes grown misty, globes glisten, warm moisture gathers, heated till hottest, boiled to shower pitch, then gratefully tumbling in senseless streams, ceaselessly flowing, cascading, drenching, grandiose waters, a small storm born. Liquidy lengths like parallel Tibers, constant in rhythm, a saturating sadness. Then waters wane, jerking and jeering, sporadic, automative grace, spitting and spotting, spluttering, hiccuping, tipping and tapping, fresh raindrop pace. Trickling down cheek pains, oozing from under pink-swelled mounds edged with black spiky tendrils. Regally rolling hearse pace. Crystal globules stand almost still, acquiescing, damply abated. Terrible tempest of anguish, now nil.
Oh, that's lovely, Gabriela. That's
Thank
beautiful.
You. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah, and as a poet and as a singer, songwriter, you told me an interesting story about the first singing competition that you won. Share it with let's share it with the listeners.
Yeah. Well, I was aged 4, and my aunt, she was a telephonist, working for I think it was the post office then, and I think it was in Hackney, East London, and I remember learning a song from the radio, and I had to sing it with an accent. I don't think my parents actually didn't know I was doing it, and it was called Who Got Dee Ding Dong, Who Got Dee Bell, or something like that. And I remember standing in the wings, and I was a tiny little thing, and I used to look up at adults, and I used to have to stretch my neck to see anybody because I was so small. And I remember being led on, and I got up and sang this thing, and I remember everyone clapping, and I'd never even seen a stage before, and I remember the huge curtains and the wooden floor, and anyway, after the applause, I was taken to the other side of the wings, and I thought, oh great, I'm going to get a prize for this, and I was offered either a pink or a white mouse with a tail, made of icing sugar. And I don't like icing sugar. I never have. And I remember deliberating over which colour to have, and I think I went for the pink one. But I remember thinking, well, why couldn't there have been a toy or some licorice? Why a sugar mouse?
Well, you got the prize, and that's the important thing.
Yeah.
So, hey, see, listeners out there, it's like maybe send us an email, telling us about one of your earliest memories on stage, and PH7 himself will get on the soapbox and let everybody know about your first experience out there. But that's really cool, the old post office up at the Hackney,
Yeah. A telephonist bash. There were a couple of hundred people there, but at that age, you're not really fazed by things like that. You just get up and do what you have to do. And but the sugar mouse, that was that was dreadful.
That's probably the thing that made you remember the whole thing, you know.
Yeah, probably.
Because it is an early memory.
Yeah.
And it's a nice little story. I really like that.
And then, I mean, there wasn't. I mean, my father had been a jazz drummer, though it was before I was born, because he suffered a bad injury. So there was always music being played in the house, but I didn't really hear my dad play that much because the bones in his hand had been damaged. And so, and my grandmother had been a sort of an amateur opera singer. She would have been professional, but my grandfather was a very strict Italian, and he wanted my grandma to work with him. They had a couple of businesses going on, and legitimate ones, I have to say. And so, I mean, there was always a bit of music going on, but nobody sort of influenced me that much. I was left to my own devices as a kid, and it wasn't until I went to the convent that there was some singing going on there, but that stopped when I was about age 12, when they put me in the A stream, and you know, I was forced to do more science and maths and stuff like that, and I think they wanted to turn out a lot of women scientists and doctors and things, and that was really sad. So just before my 15th birthday, I walked out of school. I just walked. I was sad. There was I couldn't do drama or art or singing. That was the thing, you know. And so they were dismayed that I went, but nothing would persuade me to go back.
Yeah, well, I tell you, you know, the scientists and the doctors, you know, they're lost, and the singers and the songwriters, you know, our gain. Listeners out there, yeah. That's a nice little story, Gabriela. Gabriela's going to be doing some a cappella singing, you know, as the show goes on, and you're going to be in for a really good treat. Would you like to share another poem with us?
Yeah. I'm just wondering which one. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, not to worry. While Gabriela is making up her decision, what we're going to do is we're going to play a little song that she's brought along, and it's from Gladys Knight and the Pips, and it's called Whatever Gets You Through the Night.